My friends, let's talk about something that has fooled almost every dreamer on this planet: motivation. It's beautiful, isn't it? That rush of energy when you watch a powerful video, hear a moving speech, or read a quote that lights a fire in your chest. In that moment, you feel unstoppable, ready to conquer mountains, ready to change your life. But then what happens? A few hours later, reality knocks on your door. The excitement fades, the alarm rings, and you don't want to get up. Your goals look heavy again. And that's when you realize motivation is temporary. Motivation is like the spark from a match, bright, exciting, but gone in seconds if you don't feed it. Discipline, however, is the fire that burns all night. We live in a world that worships motivation. We scroll through endless videos, waiting for the one line that will change our life. But life doesn't change with one line, it changes with one decision. A decision to show up, whether you feel inspired or not. That's where the separation begins. The world is full of motivated starters, but only the disciplined ones finish. I once met a man who ran every morning at 5 a.m. for 20 years. One day I asked him, "Do you ever feel motivated every day to run?" He laughed and said, "Motivation? Number. I stopped relying on that years ago. I don't run because I feel like it. I run because I said I would." That's discipline. Doing it long after the mood has left the room. Discipline isn't punishment. It's the highest form of self-respect. It's you telling yourself, "I deserve to live at my full potential, even when it's hard." Motivation is a visitor. Discipline is a roommate, the one who doesn't leave even when things get messy. Discipline means showing up when nobody claps, believing when nobody believes, and working when no one is watching. You don't lose because you're weak. You lose because you depend on feelings, and feelings are unstable. One day they love you. The next day, they betray you. But discipline doesn't care about feelings. It only cares about standards. Your standard says, "I will wake up early. I will practice my craft. I will stay honest." And every day you live by that standard, you rise a little higher, even if nobody notices yet. When you first choose discipline, it feels like sacrifice. You'll lose comfort, excuses, and the illusion that success should feel easy. But after a while, that sacrifice turns into strength. You start trusting yourself again. You start respecting the person in the mirror. And that's when real growth begins. Not in excitement, but in endurance. There was a sculptor who worked on a massive stone for years. Every morning he came, chipped a little, and left. People mocked him. "You've been working for so long and nothing's changing." He smiled and said, "You don't see the change yet, but the stone does." Then one day, with one final strike, the statue emerged, perfect and majestic. Everyone said, "That one hit changed everything." But the sculptor said, "No. It was every strike before it that made this one possible." That's the law of discipline. Your small daily efforts are not wasted. They are recorded, they are stored, and one day they explode into success. If you truly want to transform your life, stop chasing motivation and start building systems. Motivation makes you feel ready. Discipline makes you ready or not. Here's how the greats do it. 1. Clarity. They know exactly what they want. 2. Routine. They turn goals into habits so that action becomes automatic. 3. Commitment. They keep their word even when it's inconvenient. 4. Reflection. They review their failures without judgment and move forward stronger. This is how ordinary people become extraordinary. Repetition is not boring, it's sacred. Every time you repeat a good habit, You carve discipline into your identity. If you go to the gym 100 times, the muscle you build is not just physical, it's mental. You're teaching your brain, I can rely on myself. And when your brain learns that, you become unstoppable. A young musician once broke two strings during a live performance. The crowd gasped, expecting him to stop, but he smiled, shifted his hands, and played with what was left perfectly. Afterwards, someone asked, "How did you stay calm?" He said, "I've practiced with broken strings before. Discipline prepared me for disaster." That's the essence of discipline, preparation for chaos. Discipline is not something you do, it's something you become. It's not an act, it's an identity. You stop saying, "I will try." You start saying, "I do this." Because once discipline becomes who you are, success becomes a side effect. So when the world tells you, just stay motivated, smile and answer, I don't chase motivation, I train discipline. That is the beginning of mastery. That is where temporary inspiration dies and permanent transformation begins. Building habits that last. When discipline becomes the root, habits become the branches that reach toward your dreams. Motivation is a wave, discipline is the ocean, habits are the tides that keep returning day after day without fail. Habits are the hidden architecture of every life. They decide whether your days build you up or break you down. Your future isn't built in one grand moment. It's shaped by the small decisions you repeat when nobody is watching. Every habit is a vote for the kind of person you want to become. Each time you act, you're casting a ballot. This is who I am. One vote doesn't define the election, but keep voting the same way, and the result becomes inevitable. We imagine transformation as a giant leap, one perfect day that fixes everything. But lasting change happens in whispers, not shouts. A 5-minute walk, a single page, read, a kind word spoken instead of anger. It's not the size of the action, it's the consistency of intention. Tiny hinges swing big doors. A young potter once asked his master, "Why do my pots crack in the fire while yours never do?" The master replied, "Because you shape yours in excitement, I shape mine in rhythm." The boy wanted to create fast. The master wanted to create forever. And so it is with habits. Excitement begins, rhythm sustains, mastery endures. Your brain loves patterns more than passion. It doesn't care whether an action feels inspiring, only that it's familiar. That means the key to lasting habits isn't willpower, it's simplicity. Make it easy to start. Make it obvious to see. Make it rewarding to finish. If reading a book feels heavy, commit to one paragraph. If exercise feels distant, start with a 5-minute stretch. Momentum is built, not born. Most people say, "I want to run a marathon." But the disciplines say, "I am a runner." One treats the habit as a task, the other as an identity. When your habits flow from who you are, you no longer fight to maintain them. They become your nature. Don't just ask, "What should I do?" Ask, "Who do I want to become?" Then design habits that match that identity. A gardener once said, "Every morning I water even when the sky looks dry." Someone laughed, "Why waste water if the rain might come?" He smiled, because habits don't wait for weather. Growth doesn't come from ideal conditions. It comes from consistent care that creates ideal conditions. When you build a habit, you're planting a seed the future you will harvest. To build new habits, you must challenge old comfort. Habits are like roots, the old ones grip deep. Don't fight them with force, replace them with purpose. Instead of saying, "I'll stop scrolling," say, I'll read for 5 minutes. Instead of saying, I'll stop worrying, say, I'll breathe deeply for 60 seconds. The brain needs a replacement, not an empty space. If you improve 1% each day, by year's end, you're 37 times better. But if you decline 1% each day, by year's end, you're nearly gone. Tiny gains compound like invisible interest. You won't notice the growth daily, but one day, people will call it overnight success. Discipline thrives where temptation starves. If your environment pulls you backward, even strong willpower will bend. So design your space for success. Keep reminders where your eyes land. Keep distractions where your hands can't reach. Surround yourself with people whose habits mirror your future, not your past. Environment is stronger than intention. Build wisely. 9. Turning pain into purpose. Every person who transformed their life used pain as raw material. Pain can either break you or build you, depending on who's in charge. Discipline takes pain and says, you'll work for me now. That heartbreak becomes empathy. That failure becomes strategy. That rejection becomes redirection. When life cuts you, discipline cauterizes the wound and keeps you walking. 10. The ladder of growth. Transformation is not a door you walk through once. It's a ladder, climbed daily, rung by rung. 1. Awareness, see the pattern. 2. Acceptance, own the reality. 3. Action, change the behavior. 4th adjustment, refine the process. 5. Ascension, repeat until it's second nature. Each climb feels repetitive, but each round raises your ceiling. 11. Story. The broken athlete. A sprinter tore his leg muscles before the championship. Doctors said he'd never race again. He spent months walking with crutches, but every day he walked 5 extra steps. 2 years later, he ran again, slower, older, but stronger. When asked how he survived, he said, I replaced why me with what now? And discipline answered. That's the transformation, turning tragedy into training. 12. The discipline loop. 1. Decision. You choose the direction. 2. Action. You move even when unsure. 3. Feedback. You observe the result. 4th adjustment. You refine and continue. Run this loop daily and destiny becomes predictable. Discipline doesn't promise perfection, it guarantees progress. 13. Faith meets effort. At some point, you'll do everything right and still wait for results. That's where faith joins discipline. Faith says, keep walking. The seed is growing under the soil. You may not see the sprout, but if you stop watering, it dies unseen. Your unseen consistency is already shaping your visible tomorrow. 14. Story. The lantern maker. An old craftsman made lanterns by hand. He would polish every frame even though customers never saw the inside. Someone asked, why waste time on what no one sees? He smiled, because I see it. And how I do one thing is how I do everything. That's integrity, the invisible twin of discipline. Integrity turns skill into art and work into worship. 15. The moment you become the example. When you live disciplined long enough, something beautiful happens. People start watching. Your children notice your mornings. Your friends feel your steadiness. Strangers sense your energy. You stop preaching and your life starts teaching. That's when you realize the purpose of discipline was never just success. It was to become a lighthouse for others. Closing of Part 4. From discipline to destiny. Every transformation story shares three truths. 1. They started small. 2. They stayed steady. 3. They finished strong. Destiny doesn't belong to the lucky, it belongs to the loyal. So stay loyal to your daily steps, your silent work, your unseen efforts. Because when discipline meets time, destiny bows. The silent enemy, giving up too early. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they give up one chapter before their breakthrough. You've seen it, haven't you? Someone works hard for months, maybe years, then one bad week arrives, one disappointment, one rejection, and they quit. But here's the truth. Discipline doesn't end when it hurts. That's where it begins. Consistency during pain separates the dreamers from the doers. There's a story about the Chinese bamboo tree. You plant the seed, you water it, you care for it, and for 5 long years, nothing appears above the soil. No sprout, no sign, nothing. But in the 6th year, it shoots up 80 feet in just 6 weeks. Now tell me, did it grow in 6 weeks? Number. It was growing underground all along, building roots strong enough to hold its destiny. That's what your silent seasons are. Root work. Every delay, every quiet struggle, every unnoticed effort, it's preparing your foundation for sudden growth. There will be moments when you feel drained, mentally, physically, emotionally. You'll whisper to yourself, maybe I'm not meant for this. But fatigue is not failure. It's just your body asking for adjustment, not abandonment. Rest if you must, but never retire from your dream. Even God rested on the 7th day, not because he was done creating, but because he wanted to admire what he built. You deserve to pause, not to quit. There was once a man building a wall. Every single day, he laid one brick. His neighbor laughed and said, "You'll take forever." The man replied, "I'm not building fast. I'm building forever." A year later, the neighbor's fancy wall collapsed in a storm, but the bricklayer's wall still stood. That's the strength of slow consistency. Discipline isn't about doing it all at once. It's about never leaving the worksite. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a chapter within it. Every failure carries a map, a guide to what not to repeat. When you read your failures as lessons instead of losses, you become unstoppable. The most successful people aren't those who never failed. They're those who failed forward. Fear never truly disappears. Even the strongest people feel it. The difference is that they act with fear, not after it fades. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's deciding that fear doesn't control your schedule. You can walk trembling and still walk powerfully if your direction is clear. Fear visits everyone, but discipline only hosts the brave. One rainy evening, when a park flooded and everyone went home, a young man kept running. Drenched and shivering, he said, "I can't control the weather, but I can control my will." That night, he didn't just build stamina, he built character. Consistency in chaos creates greatness in calm. When you're at your breaking point, whisper, one more day, one more step, one more attempt. That one more becomes the habit of resilience. Your mind may scream, "Stop," but your spirit, trained by discipline, will whisper, "Let's go again." That's how legends are born, not in comfort, but in continuation. Everyone gets knocked down. The difference lies in who stands back up. Falling is human. Rising is a choice. If you fall 7 times, rise 8. Every rise makes you stronger, wiser, and humbler. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Watch me." A young apprentice once watched his master potter shape clay. When the pot cracked in the oven, the boy groaned, "It's ruined." The master smiled, crushed it back into clay, and said, "Now it's ready to begin again." The fire that broke it also purified it. That's how life refines you. Every burn makes you smoother and stronger. When fear arrives, it brings energy. Most people waste it by panicking, but the disciplined mind converts it into focus. Ask yourself, what is this fear trying to teach me? Often, fear points to the area you're meant to grow next. Let fear guide your improvement, not your retreat. Champions don't just work hard, they recover hard. Discipline isn't about never falling. It's about how fast you get back up. When you rest, rest with purpose. Don't quit. Recharge. Don't isolate. Realign. Don't complain. Recalibrate. Every comeback starts with one deep breath and the words, "Not over yet." Once, a village began building a bridge across a river. Midway through, the leader died, and the project stopped. For 10 years, that half-bridge stood unfinished until a young builder decided to complete it. When he finished, he engraved, "Discipline finishes what time forgets." You may inherit unfinished dreams, yours or someone else's. Don't let them die in the middle. Continue the bridge. Think of failure as a compass. It doesn't tell you where you can't go. It shows you where you shouldn't stay. Every failed attempt narrows your direction toward the right one. Treat mistakes as data, not drama, and you'll accelerate your growth. Progress is messy, but so is greatness before it's polished. Anyone can start strong. Few can stay steady. Only the rare keep going when applause fades and no one is watching. These quiet endurers build empires out of repetition. Their reward isn't fame, it's freedom. Freedom from self-doubt, guilt, and inconsistency. Because once you've proven you can't be broken, life stops trying to break you. Every night, a lighthouse keeper climbed 200 steps to light the lamp. For 40 years, through storms and silence, he never missed a night. That one steady light saved countless lives. When asked why he never failed, he said, "Because somewhere, someone depends on my consistency." That's you. Someone out there is waiting for the light you're about to shine. If you failed, you're not disqualified. You're initiated. Failure doesn't prove weakness, it proves you're still fighting. Every scar is a survival certificate. Every setback is a setup for your next success. Don't be ashamed of your journey. Be proud that you're still walking when others stopped long ago. So promise yourself this: you will fall, but you will rise. You will doubt, but you will act. You will fear, but you will move anyway. Because discipline doesn't demand perfection, it demands presence. And when you stay present, you win battles that motivation can't even start. Never forget, the silent enemy isn't failure. It's quitting too soon. The power of stillness in a noisy world. In today's world, everyone wants to move fast. Instant results, instant validation, instant peace. But peace isn't found in speed, it's found in stillness. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing one thing with your whole being. The undisciplined mind chases 100 things halfway. The unshakable mind finishes one thing fully. If you master stillness, you master storms. 2. The art of being centered. Imagine a storm spinning around a mountain. Trees bend, rivers rage, but the mountain stands unmoved. That mountain is your disciplined mind. It doesn't react to every gust of wind. It stays rooted in purpose. Be that mountain. People will wonder why you're calm when everything shakes. It's because your roots go deeper than fear. 3 story. The Samurai and the Butterfly. A samurai stood in meditation. A butterfly landed on his sword. His student whispered, "Master, how can you stay so still?" The samurai smiled. Peace isn't found in the absence of movement, it's found in the mastery of it. That's mastery, not resistance, but harmony. Bird. The enemy within. Noise of the mind. The world doesn't destroy dreams, doubt does. Fear doesn't come from the outside, it's an echo from within. Your greatest battle isn't against people, it's against your own noise. The thoughts that say, "You're not enough, you're too late, you'll fail again." When those voices speak, smile and whisper, "Thank you for your concern, but I am busy becoming unstoppable." An unshakable person hears fear, but follows faith. 5. The Mastery Triangle. To become unshakable, balance 3 forces: clarity, know what matters; control, guard your emotions; consistency, show up regardless. Clarity without control creates chaos. Control without consistency brings stagnation. Consistency without clarity leads to burnout. Master all 3, and you'll move through life like water: strong, calm, unstoppable. 6. Story. The Old Ship Captain. A storm hit at midnight. The crew panicked, but the old captain stood calmly at the wheel. "Are you afraid?" someone shouted. He said, "Of course. But I've steered through 300 storms. Fear reminds me I'm alive, not that I'm lost." Mastery doesn't erase emotion, it educates it. You stop fighting your feelings and start training them. 7. From discipline to inner peace. When your actions match your values, you feel peace. When your effort matches your goals, you feel power. When your heart matches your words, you feel purpose. That quiet balance, that alignment, is what makes you unshakable. 8. Istari. The strength of emotional control. People think power means shouting louder. Real power is whispering calmly when the world screams chaos. Emotional control isn't suppression, it's direction. Don't hide anger, harness it. Don't bury sadness, channel it into compassion. Don't erase fear, teach it who's boss. When emotions obey your purpose, you've become the master. 9 Ifri. Story. The Monk and the Snake. A monk walked daily to the river. A snake tried to bite him. One day, he caught it gently and said, "Stop biting. You're hurting others and yourself." The next day, the snake was weak and starving. "Why?" the monk asked. The snake said, "You told me not to bite." The monk smiled. "I said don't bite. I didn't say don't hiss." Calm doesn't mean weak. Peace doesn't mean passive. Be gentle, but keep your edge. 10. Mental discipline. Guarding your energy. Protect your focus like gold. Don't give energy to gossip, jealousy, or negativity. Feed focus, not distraction. Every day ask, does this move me forward or drain me? Your peace depends on that answer. 11. Story. The Sculptor and the Stone. A young man asked, "How did you carve such a perfect statue?" The sculptor said, "I didn't carve it. I removed everything that wasn't the statue." That's mastery. Not adding more, but removing the unnecessary. Simplify. Refine, subtract, until only excellence remains. 12. The calm warrior. Mindset. A calm warrior isn't emotionless. He's emotionally trained. He knows when to fight, when to rest, when to let go. He doesn't run from pain, he walks through it. He doesn't chase approval, he owns his truth. That calmness isn't arrogance, it's alignment. The storm may roar, but the warrior moves like still water, clear, deep, focused. 13. Story, the bridge and the river. During a flood, a wise man stood by a bridge. Villagers ran in panic. He said, "Water is powerful because it bends. The bridge survives because it flexes. Be like that. Rigid people break. Flexible minds survive. When life bends you, it's not breaking you. It's teaching you to flow." 14. The unshakable mindset. Formula 1. Detach from outcomes. Do your best, then release control. 2. Focus on process. Fall in love with effort, not applause. 3rd, reframe adversity. Every problem is a push toward evolution. 4. Practice gratitude. It turns chaos into clarity. These 4 habits build a mind that no circumstance can dominate. 15. Story, the Firewalker. At a village festival, people were invited to walk barefoot over burning coal. Most refused. One woman smiled and said, "The fire outside isn't hotter than the fire inside." She walked calmly across, unharmed. That's mastery, when your inner fire burns brighter than your fear. 16. The peace of consistency. Peace doesn't come from ease, it comes from consistency. Wake up on time, speak with integrity, show gratitude, keep promises. Peace is the reward of reliability. You can't feel calm in a life full of broken commitments. 17. Your mind as your kingdom. Your mind is your kingdom. Thoughts are citizens, some loyal, some rebellious. Discipline is the king that maintains order. When negative thoughts rise, don't exile them, educate them. Teach your mind to serve your vision, not sabotage it. The moment you command your thoughts, the world can no longer command you. 18. Story, the silent teacher. A man asked a monk for wisdom. The monk poured tea into his cup and kept pouring until it overflowed. "Stop! It's full," the man said. The monk replied, "Exactly. How can I fill you when you're already full of noise?" To become unshakable, first empty yourself of pride, noise, and excuses. Only then can wisdom enter. 19. The calm. Within the chaos. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust the sail. You can't stop the rain, but you can dance under it. You can't erase pain, but you can find purpose in it. When you accept this, truly accept it, you become untouchable. You stop trying to control the world and start mastering yourself. 20 Satidi. Closing. The still warrior. When the world trembles, you'll stand still. When doubt screams, you'll stay calm. When fear rises, you'll breathe and whisper, "I'm still here." Because peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the presence of purpose in every problem. And when you find that peace, discipline no longer feels like effort, it feels like freedom. Legacy and leadership. Becoming a light for others. 1. The next stage of growth. You've mastered yourself. You've built discipline, survived storms, and found peace. Now the journey turns outward. True growth isn't about becoming better than others. It's about becoming useful to others. The greatest reward of discipline is not success, but the ability to lift others when they can't stand alone. 2. From survival to service. When you were lost, your focus was survival. Now that you've found your strength, your purpose becomes service. The hopeless need hope, and you've earned it the hard way. Your story, your scars, your struggles, they are not shame. They are service manuals. You went through darkness not to stay there, but to guide others through it. 3. The story, the candle, and the cave. A man was trapped in a dark cave. A stranger entered with a small candle. The man said, "That tiny flame won't save us." The stranger smiled. "Maybe not, but it's enough to show the way." Step by step, they walked toward daylight. You don't need to be a sun. Sometimes a candle is enough. If you light just one person's path, you've changed the map of their life. 4. The ripple effect of strength. When one person becomes disciplined, calm, and kind, it spreads. Your energy changes your home. Your home changes your neighborhood. Your neighborhood changes generations. You don't have to change the whole world. Just be the reason your corner of it feels lighter. And there's 5. Leadership without titles. You don't need a title to be a leader. Leadership is not a position. It's a posture. It's how you show up when no one's watching. It's how you treat the janitor and the CEO the same. It's how you stay calm when others panic. Leadership is quiet influence. It's how you make people feel safe in your presence. 6. Story. The teacher and the chalk. A student said to his teacher, "Sir, you're not famous. Nobody knows your name." The teacher smiled. "That's because I'm the chalk. I disappear while the lesson remains." True leaders don't crave attention. They crave impact. They write on hearts, not headlines. 7. The power of example words inspire, but example transforms. When you live your message, people don't just hear it, they feel it. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, kindness over ego, and consistency over chaos, someone silently says, "If they can, I can too." Be that proof. Be that quiet inspiration. 1. The silence before the rebirth. Every storm ends in silence. And in that silence, something new begins. When everything breaks, when life leaves you on your knees, when you feel forgotten by the world, that's not your ending. That's your reconstruction. Sometimes life has to empty you so it can fill you with something stronger. Sometimes it has to stop your story so you can write a better one. You were never broken. You were being built quietly, painfully, beautifully. I want you to remember this. There's no such thing as too late. There's only right now. And right now is always enough. 2. The fire within people chase motivation like it's oxygen, but motivation burns out. Discipline, though, that's eternal. Because discipline is not fire from outside. It's fire from within. Motivation says, I feel like it. Discipline says, I'll do it anyway. Motivation asks for comfort. Discipline builds character. Motivation whispers, someday. Discipline roars, today. When you live with discipline, you no longer wait for the world to push you. You become the engine. You become the force. You become unstoppable. 3. Story. The sculptor and the stone. A sculptor once worked on a huge piece of marble. Day after day, he hammered, chipped, and shaped. People mocked him. You're wasting time. It's just a rock. He smiled and said, no, the statue is already inside. I'm just removing what's not needed. That's what life does to you. Every failure, every heartbreak, every disappointment, it's not destroying you. It's revealing you. The masterpiece was always inside. You're just finally becoming visible. 4. Your power is already here. You don't need to be ready. You don't need perfect timing, perfect plans, or perfect people. You have breath, you have a mind, you have time. That's power. Do you understand what that means? You're not powerless. You're just unpracticed. The world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs a present version of you. One who shows up every day, messy but disciplined, tired but trying. Because life doesn't reward the perfect, it rewards the consistent. 5. The phoenix within. You've fallen, failed, cried, and crawled, and yet you're still here. That means the part of you that refuses to quit is stronger than anything that tried to destroy you. That's your phoenix, your unkillable spirit. You can burn 1,000 times, and every time you'll rise higher, not because you're lucky, but because your soul remembers how to rebuild. So stop running from the ashes. They're the proof that you had the courage to begin again. 6. Story. The warrior who forgot his name. There's an old story of a warrior who lost everything. His name, his home, his people. For years he wandered, thinking he was nothing. One day, he found a village under attack. Without thinking, he defended them. After the battle, a child asked, "Who are you?" The warrior smiled. "I don't know." The child said, "You're the one who showed up." And in that moment, he realized identity isn't in titles or memory. It's in showing up when it matters. You are not defined by your past. You're defined by your decisions now. 7. The power of one. More step. When you feel tired, take one more step. When you feel lost, take one more step. When you feel forgotten, take one more step. Because that one more step, that's where miracles live. You don't climb mountains by jumping to the top. You climb them one small, painful, disciplined step at a time. And when you finally reach the summit, you'll realize the real victory wasn't the view, it was the strength you built on the way up. 8. The greatest lie. I can't. The most dangerous words in your life are not "I failed," they're "I can't," because "I can't" kills dreams quietly. But you can. You always could. You just forgot how powerful you are. Look around. Every invention, every success story, every miracle you admire was built by ordinary people who simply refused to stop. So say it now, softly but with fire. I can. Again. I will. Now louder. I must. Because discipline doesn't ask for permission. It creates the path itself. 9. Story. The mountain and the mirror. A traveler once climbed a mountain searching for wisdom. At the top, he found nothing but a mirror. Frustrated, he shouted, "Where's the truth?" And the wind whispered back, "You've been looking at it. Every time you seek strength outside, remember, it's been inside you all along. You are your own mountain. You are your own answer." 10. The gift of the present moment. Discipline is not about perfection tomorrow, it's about progress today. Right now is the only battlefield that exists. Right now is the only doorway to change. Forget the past. It was a classroom, not a life sentence. Forget the future, it will meet you once you've mastered today. All greatness lives in this single breath. So breathe it with courage, breathe it with intention, and move. 11. You are the message. Every moment you live with truth and strength, you become the message. Your calm becomes someone's comfort. Your discipline becomes someone's roadmap. Your story becomes someone's survival manual. You don't just inspire by speaking, you inspire by being. You are not telling people how to live, you're showing them what's possible. 12. Story, the last light in the village. Once, a great storm destroyed a small village. All the lamps went out, except one. An old woman kept refilling it night after night. When people asked why, she said, "As long as this light burns, they'll remember morning will come." That's you. Your discipline, your consistency, your peace, it's not just for you. It's a signal fire for others who've lost hope. Never underestimate how your survival story keeps someone else alive. 13. Forgiveness, the ultimate freedom. If you truly want to begin again, forgive yourself and others. Forgiveness doesn't mean weakness, it means you're done being a prisoner of your own pain. You cannot build a new future while holding on to old chains. Let it go. Not for them, but for you. Forgiveness clears the ground where your new life will grow. 14. The new you. Who are you now? Not the person who started this journey, not the one who failed, not the one who feared. You are the one who endured, the one who chose discipline over distraction, the one who became the light. This moment is your rebirth. You're not starting over. You're starting wiser. 15. Story, the seed that broke the stone. A seed was trapped under a heavy rock. It could have given up, but it didn't. It kept pushing until the stone cracked open and sunlight poured in. That seed didn't grow after freedom. It grew toward freedom. That's you. Your struggle isn't proof you're weak. It's proof that something powerful is trying to grow. 16. Your final challenge. When you leave this place, the world won't suddenly become easy. You'll still face doubts, distractions, disappointments, but now you have the armor of discipline, the sword of consistency, the shield of peace, and every time you face darkness, remember, you've already walked through worse, and you're still standing. 17. The last story. The torchbearer. A man was once given a torch and told, "Keep it burning until the next dawn." The night was long, the rain was heavy, but he never let it go out. When the morning came, he handed it to another traveler and said, "I kept it alive. Now it's your turn." That's what you do now. You carry your light through the night, and when someone lost crosses your path, you share it. That's how hope travels. That's how legacy lives. 18. The final message. My friends, Discipline will take you where motivation never could. Because motivation fades when you're tired. Discipline whispers, keep going. Motivation disappears when life gets dark. Discipline lights the way. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the sun. So don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait to feel inspired. You are ready. You are capable. You are enough. The war is not outside. It's within. And now you have already won. 19. The closing words. From today, walk like the person you were always meant to be. Calm, focused, unshakable. Let the world wonder how you do it. And when they ask, smile and say, I stopped waiting for motivation. I started living with discipline. Your story doesn't end here. It begins here. Because the light you've built was never meant to stay inside you. It was meant to shine. Discipline will take you where motivation can't.